What up, Big Chiefs, and welcome to the Circles and Blunt Pencils podcast with me, Cake Champion. The Circles and Blunt Pencils podcast that has no point except when it comes to wrestling. That's right, Circles and Blunt Pencils is my own wrestling podcast. But before I get started, I'd just like to give a special shout out to one half of the Cake Brains, Jaden. Thanks, Jaden. Without Jaden's help, there's no way I'd be able to handle getting this podcast out there for you to listen to. He has been a massive help on that side of things. So once again, thanks, Jaden. Today, I'll be speaking a bit about Raw, Smackdown and NXT and giving some of my own thoughts and opinions. And by that, I mean it comes from me. None of this bullshit that gets passed around on the internet. No. Fuck that. Before I get stuck into that though, today, 21st of March. So I thought I'd look back and see what happened on this date in wrestling history. And I found TNA Destination X from 2010. I watched it. It was okay. It wasn't, I wouldn't put it up there as one of the best TNA pay-per-views that I saw. But there were 3 matches specifically that stuck out to me. So I thought I might take a bit of your time and talk briefly on that. One match was a tag team match between Kevin Nash and Eric Young against the team of Scott Hall and Six-Pac, or X-Pac, or Sean Waltman, however you'd like to refer to him. What was going on here was Scott Hall and Six-Pac were looking for jobs in TNA. Even though they'd been working there, they obviously must have been fired or let go, and they felt that was due to Kevin Nash. So they had this tag team match, and the stipulation of the match was that if Hall and Six-Pac won, then they would get contracts with TNA. There were 2 things I found extremely funny about this match. Basically, Eric Young was in the match the entire time, got the tag to Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash comes in, acting like he's going to start beating on Scott Hall, and then proceeds to give Eric Young a jackknife powerbomb. What I found funny was, after that, he dragged Eric Young back to his corner, outside of the ropes, and had his hand hanging over the ropes, so he could tag him in, making Eric Young the legal man. And that's how they picked up the victory. Another thing that I also found funny was, after the match, these guys, obviously from the NWO, have a very special fascination with spray paint and, painting people. Actually, I think this might have happened during the match. But Eric Young was down, and Six-Pac was looking under the ring for the spray can, and you can hear him yell, "Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it?" So Eric Young quickly gets up and points to the other side of the corner where the spray can is, and then jumps down as if, no one would notice and nothing happened. But of course, I had to notice that. Scott Hall, for those of you that know of the Scott Hall story, it is very sad. Definitely, had the potential to be, one of the best wrestlers. He was just not in shape. It was, it's just, very, very sad to watch. But, good for him now. He's actually turned his life around and looking very good. Another match it was actually another tag team match. It was an Ultimate X match consisting of the teams of the Motor City Machine Guns, which were actually one of my favorite tag teams in TNA. They took on Generation Me, who are in fact the Young Bucks. All I got to say about that is Generation Me back then, Young Bucks now, nothing has changed. It's this 9 years ago, and they still wrestle the same as they did back then. It's ridiculous. It's like they have never aged. And I'm pretty sure Nick was only 21 at the time, or Jeremy Buck as he was referred to back then. The main event of this pay-per-view was AJ Styles versus Abyss. This was when AJ Styles was groomed to be Ric Flair, which was just shocking. It was bad to watch, I think, anyway. He had the robe on and everything, and styling and profiling and all this other stuff that Ric Flair used to do. I didn't get it. There's only one Ric Flair. There will only ever be one Ric Flair. You hear that, Charlotte? One Ric Flair. Stop mooching off your old man. Come up with your own shit. Speaking of not coming up with their own shit, Abyss was basically it turned into Hulk Hogan. You know, he was going through some crap. I don't know the full extent of the story. I'm just going on what I watched in the lead up. So he was going through some crap, went to Hogan. Hogan gave him his Hall of Fame ring, and then all of a sudden, the Monster Abyss becomes Hulk Hogan. Even comes out to Hulk Hogan's theme music. And then hulks up towards the end of the match. Ric Flair was ringside in a wheelchair. It doesn't matter if he's walking or in a wheelchair. Ric Flair is Ric Flair. Ric Flair is the man. Ric Flair is wrestling. I should have also mentioned that this match was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which was held by AJ Styles. There was no result in this match, as Abyss chokeslammed AJ through the ring. It was a good match up until that point, because everybody started getting involved. I think Desmond Wolfe came out and then started getting beat up by Abyss and Hogan, and then fell into the hole that was in the ring. And then Ric Flair comes in and same thing, gets a beating and then falls into the ring and then just rolls into the hole. That the last 3 minutes of that pay-per-view was absolutely shocking. I'll leave it there. That was this day in history. Let's talk about Raw. How did Raw go this week? Well, we started off with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar coming out. That's right, Brock Lesnar turned up to pick up a $200,000 paycheck or whatever he gets paid to do, to stand in the ring while Paul Heyman talks. Paul Heyman has to be, without doubt, the best on the mic. And if he's not, he's definitely up there. You cannot doubt that man's skill on the mic. Drew McIntyre interrupted, basically told Heyman that he needs to find his client a new opponent for WrestleMania, because he was going to destroy Seth Rollins in the main event. Rollins comes out and attacks McIntyre with a chair, gets everyone pretty hyped. I'm pretty sure that's how that ended. What else happened? Some fuckwit rocked up late because she thinks she's king shit, and there's a referee there and a bunch of security saying it's unacceptable or something, and she's trying to act tough in front of her husband. She's trying to act tough. She needs to fuck off, seriously. Kurt Angle announced his opponent for his farewell match at WrestleMania, and that was Baron Corbin. Really? Baron Corbin. I don't think anyone's happy about this decision. I think I'm the only one that just doesn't care. I like it. You know, I think it works. You know, when Angle was general manager and then he loses that job to Baron Corbin, and he had his own name. I think he was Constable Corbin for a moment there, and then was general manager elect Baron Corbin. Somehow I think that's not going to be the match at Mania. I think it's going to change. I said Cena. I still think it's going to be Cena. Given the reaction by, basically everyone in the WWE universe, I somehow think they will change that. I forgot to mention last week that Alexa Bliss is the host of WrestleMania, because WrestleMania needs a host, apparently. Because it's a 20-hour spectacle that's full of 50,000 matches, and it needs to be hosted by someone to come out and let everyone know that they're at WrestleMania, and then that's it. So yes, that's Alexa Bliss. She has her own talk show, Moment of Bliss, and her guest this week was Elias. A few people are actually surprised I had nothing to say about Elias last week. And I just let them know that that's not the only podcast I'll be doing, and there'll be plenty of time to talk about Elias. Will that be today? I think I might leave it just another week. He was basically, saying that he is going to be the headlining musical act of WrestleMania. musical act. This guy is a wrestler. I'll just leave it there. I'll save it. I'll keep building up my material, and then one day I'll just unleash on how unhappy I am about the usage of Elias. He was interrupted by No Way Jose and the Congo line. No Way Jose. Seriously, that guy's still relevant? Honestly, we saw this gig, 4-5 years ago with Adam Rose and the Rosebuds? It's WWE, it's sports entertainment, it's not Hollywood. You can't just, recycle ideas from the past and then bring them back and expect people not to notice. That involved a match, excuse me. That involved a match between the two, and I'm pretty sure Elias absolutely destroyed the fuck out of him. Mrs. Edge made a comeback to Raw. Yes, Mrs. Edge is in fact the Phoenixed one, Beth Phoenix. Her and Natalya came out and they basically issued a challenge to the Boss and Hug Connection for the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania. And I'm pretty sure that got interrupted by Nia Jax and Tamina anyway. Something funny happened there. I think it came from Sasha Banks of all people. Something about Natalya saying, don't they know who Beth Phoenix is? And, because she's a legend and, she's one of the trailblazers for the women's evolution that's happening now. And Sasha hit back with something like, we know who she is. She's the one whose coattail you're riding, I think, to be relevant or something, or to get a match or something to do with titles. Something like that. That was the only good thing. That happened in that, I feel, and yeah, like I said, it came from Sasha because I think she's absolute trash. Speaking of trash, Ronald McDonald, everybody's best mate, came out to the ring because she had a match with Dana Brooke, and I don't even know how to describe it. I've seen pieces of shit that look better than her face walking out to the ring. It's ridiculous. I can't even put it to words other than a piece of shit looks better than her face. So she had a match with Dana Brooke, basically won in like 5 seconds. I think she broke Dana Brooke's arm because she refused to let go of the arm bar. Yeah, you're real tough. Good on you, champ. And then, yeah, once again, just decides to beat up referees and security. It's like, fucking get over it. You're not that tough. Even her, I was going to say wife again, even her husband, who was sitting ringside, punched a security guard and then picked up Ronald over the barricade and said, come on, bitch, let's go. So they're holding hands, walking to the back. We are meant to believe that this is real. There is no way you would not be having security. Just, that's all over the floor. Just going up to them and escorting them out of the building. No, you've just got a camera on the two of them walking by themselves, going out the back. At least make it seem believable. The same thing happened when Becky Lynch was suspended and decided to crash one of the events. I can't remember if it was Raw or if it was a pay-per-view. And then just started, fighting people. There's no way you'd let that happen. At least make it seem believable. Make it seem that way. What else happened? There was an interview with Batista, who I guess he thought he was the Godfather or something. In his nice flashy suit in his house on his throne, and Michael Cole interviewed him, and I watched it back twice. I still didn't get it. All I got was Batista saying, I don't like Hunter. I just don't like the guy. Oh, is it because of your days in Evolution? No. It goes back further than that. You weren't relevant before you were in Evolution, mate. Go back to Hollywood. Okay, at least put on a good match. But yeah, once again, make it believable. Come on. Speaking of believable, Drew McIntyre's promo on Roman Reigns. Fantastic. Fantastic. Drew McIntyre, I said last week, is the man. I stand by that again this week. This guy has all the tools. Talking about making it real. He comes out, challenges Reigns to a match at WrestleMania, which I'm actually pissed that they announced it this week. I was hoping they would announce it next week, so then I could come here and say, this is my Mania prediction for the week. Obviously not, but that's all right. So he comes out and he cuts this promo on Reigns, and he's saying, you told us to call you Joe, so I'm going to call you Joe. I'm challenging you to the fight of your life. If Batista and Triple H use just a little bit of that in their rivalry, in their promos, then I think it would make it better. Like a couple of weeks ago when Triple H just come out saying, you're not talking to the character, you're talking to the man. If he had said, you're talking to the man, Dave, you're talking to me, you're talking to Paul Levesque. Yes, beautiful. Then going back to Batista's Godfather interview, and when he goes, I don't like Hunter. If he had just called him Paul, bang, money. I think that makes the rivalry and would have me interested, because I'm not interested in it. I'm really not. I will still watch it, but I just, what they're doing has not made me go, ooh, I can't wait to see what happens. Because I'm thinking, I can't wait to fast forward this segment. Anyway, back to Drew McIntyre. So he's challenged Roman Reigns to a match at Mania. I think it will be a good match. However, Reigns was not on Raw this week, so there's 2 Raws leading into Mania. I don't think that is enough time to build up this rivalry, unless you connect, which I think they will, with McIntyre saying, I'm going to take out the Shield. When he took out Ambrose last week. He beat Rollins on Raw. I don't think that'll clarify as him taking out Rollins. But, again, taking out Roman, I actually do look forward to this match. I think it'll be a good match. But yeah, like I said, McIntyre did beat Rollins. Lesnar's music hit, which interrupted Rollins. McIntyre hit the Claymore, and that was the end of the match. I think that was all. Braun Strowman has announced that he's entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Like, seriously, I don't like Braun Strowman, but surely you could have something better than just in a battle royal where, everyone's going to be gunning for you. So, but I also think he might be doing something with the guys from Saturday Night Live. Maybe a few skits there, like him scaring the crap out of him or whatever. So yeah, that was Raw. Let's go to SmackDown. The Miz came out and, as he does on the microphone so well, cut a great promo. I cannot remember the specifics, I'm sorry, but I do know that it was good. The Miz is class on the mic. He just needs to be a heel. I will not let that go, ever. Even the crowd was getting behind him. I think it's one of the loudest cheers actually the Miz has got. Which was, I guess that's good to see. But yeah, I don't know how long him not being a heel is going to last. Hopefully not too long. Unless of course he goes after the heel Daniel Bryan and takes the championship off him. That'd be good. Kevin Owens came out to do the Kevin Owens show. Kevin Owens looking very schmick in a t-shirt, a tie, and a suit jacket. Okay, it actually looked quite ridiculous, but he's a great host. His guests were Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. You can obviously tell I'm excited about that. what did he do? He had cue cards, and there was basically quotes about what, you know, Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronald have said about, you know, the other one. So he read a few about that, trying to bait them, and these two are just not selling it at all. You know, they're sitting there like they don't care, which makes me not care. Not that I actually care anyway. I lost interest in this rivalry a long time ago. Basically, since Charlotte was added to the match, so I couldn't really care about that. Kevin Owens made it good, but he made it very interesting. So what happened? He told them what everyone was saying, and then one of them said, you know, let's fight. So Owens he stood up and he's like, yeah, fight. He's like, hang on, 1 second, so he could get out of the ring, which is actually pretty funny. And then, you know, same old deal, referees and security coming out, trying to break it up. Someone needs to teach these chicks how to brawl. Honestly, it is that bad. It looks like they're about to, you know, hit one another, but they're just waiting. They're just waiting for the referee or security to pull them back, so then they can throw that punch. So it looks like they're actually wanting to hit them. Whereas this just clusterfuck. It's got clusterfuck written all over it. It is bad. It is bad TV. I cannot wait for Mania to be over so this can be done with. Done with. I'm sick of it. No one cares. You've got a fucking clown that thinks she's king shit, that does nothing and looks worse than a piece of shit. And then you got someone who puts the other gender on their shirt and then walks around, you know, I'm the man. You're done. And then you got another one that just, okay, I'm going to be my dad. Oh, now I'm going to be Shawn Michaels. There was something else. There was another one. I saw something and it was just like, you've ripped off that as well. But I can't remember what it was. And actually, to be honest, I don't care. Daniel Bryan came out and basically spoke a bunch of vegan shit. Yeah, I don't know. Meat is bad. Grass is good. Something like that. And then Kofi Kingston came out for his gauntlet match. In the gauntlet match, he had to defeat Sheamus, Cesaro, Rowan, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. The matches with against Sheamus and Cesaro, I thought were pretty good. Speaking of Cesaro, that dude has to be the most underrated wrestler in wrestling. Underrated. I'll just leave that there. That's how I feel. Rowan, it was then Rowan's turn. Kofi obviously beat Sheamus and then he beat Cesaro. Rowan got disqualified, basically beat up Kofi with a chair and then threw him through the table. And then Samoa Joe came out to pick up the pieces. They actually had a pretty good match. Samoa Joe's good. I've got something else to say about Samoa Joe after. In the end, Kofi did beat Joe, and then Joe basically choked him out, which left Kofi to defeat Randy Orton. And if Kofi defeated Randy Orton, he's going to WrestleMania. Yes, that's right. Kofi's going to WrestleMania. Orton comes out, and you just think, oh, this is going to be quick. I honestly thought it was going to be quick. I thought Orton's going to come in and think, all right, sweet, easy pickings, and he's going to get rolled up 1, 2, 3. Didn't happen like that. They actually had a bit of a match, bit longer than a Randy Orton appearance on Smackdown these days. Usually just turns up to deliver an RKO and then goes home, which I like. Hey, if I could do that at work every week, I would. Kofi did beat Randy Orton in what can only be described as one of the worst roll-ups in history. Also, during the match, they cut to the back and the New Day was watching it on the big screen. And then bit by bit, more superstars would join them. The Usos were there. The Usos were actually handing out pancakes to the New Day, which I thought was pretty funny. I think the Hardys were there. Ricochet was there. Mustafa Ali was there, off memory that I can remember. But yeah, sorry, Kofi did win that match. And then Vince McMahon comes out. Says, "Congratulations, Kofi. You're going to WrestleMania. If you can beat this man." And then out comes the vegan lord himself, Daniel Bryan. Quick match. Daniel Bryan wins. Kofi Kingston's not going to WrestleMania. This is what I love about this. Not once has it been said, like last week, this week, even at Fastlane, that Kofi Kingston is in the WWE Championship picture. Everyone just assumes it because he got thrown into a, coincidentally enough, a gauntlet match before Elimination Chamber because Mustafa Ali suffered a concussion. So Kofi gets thrown into that, and then he's in the Elimination Chamber, and it goes down to him and Daniel Bryan. And then now all of a sudden, it's just give Kofi the match. He should be going to Mania for the belt. But not once has it come out. Like even last week, Vince saying, okay, if you beat these 5 men, you're going to WrestleMania. He just said you're going to WrestleMania. He never said you're going to WrestleMania to fight Daniel Bryan. Which I love. And once again, I think going back to the Corbin and Angle thing, I think I'm the only one that loves this. I think it's great. And people are saying, oh, you wonder why your ratings are dropping and your ratings are shit. Don't you want to see what's going to happen next week with Kofi? There's still 2 Smackdowns before Mania. 2 Smackdowns. 100% you'll be tuning in to see exactly what happens with Kofi Kingston. I said I was going to mention something about Samoa Joe, and that is, to my disappointment, Rey Mysterio will be facing Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. And by disappointment, I mean I was confident that it was going to be Rey Mysterio and Andrade. Because that's got WrestleMania written all over it. I had actually predicted a hair versus career match, which I'm actually glad isn't happening. I think Rey Mysterio still got about 10 or 20 years left in him. But he announced the match in a backstage interview with his son Dominic. Now, if you remember, 14 years ago, Rey Mysterio was involved in a storyline with Eddie Guerrero about who was the father of Dominic. He towers over Rey Mysterio and is training to become a wrestler himself. That'll be good to see. All right, I think that's everything I've got to say about SmackDown. NXT. I know I had ruined it last week. I apologise for that. That's only because it was ruined for me. Triple H comes out to inform everybody about Tommaso Ciampa's vacating the title because he had neck surgery. Then they show a bit of footage of Ciampa at the prepping up for surgery and whatnot, and apparently it was a successful surgery. And they were saying that in the last 3 years, he has had a ACL. He's basically had ACL reconstruction surgery, surgery on both shoulders, and now a neck surgery. That poor guy cannot catch a break. And he actually posted a photo as well of him in a neck brace holding Goldie, which he named the NXT title, and he had some white tape around it, so it looked like the belt also had a neck brace on, which was pretty funny. So yeah, Triple H is saying, he was going to announce that it was going to be Ciampa versus Johnny Fuckwit for the NXT Championship. For some unknown reason, Mr. Johnny Fuckwit is just automatically granted a title match. So Triple H announces a 5-way match for the winner to go and face Johnny Fuckwit at Takeover. And they were Adam Cole, Aleister Black, Ricochet, the Velveteen Dream, and Matt Riddle. Look, NXT is a different, I'm going to call it, it's a different beast than WWE, Raw or Smackdown, just because the crowd, the crowd is always electric. But there's something wrong with them, because for some unknown reason, when Triple H was announcing, that Johnny Toolbag was going to be facing the winner of the match on NXT, the winner of the 5-way, the crowd was chanting Johnny Wrestling. Maybe they had cut out sucks at in between or something, but yeah, I thought that was very strange. Johnny Wrestling. I think Johnny Fuckwit, Johnny Toolbag, or Johnny Dickhead has a better ring to it. That'd be a great chant. I said last week, I'll say it again, not just about NXT being pre-taped, but time-wise. Give them at least an extra half an hour, maybe even go to 2 hours. I mean, you got the talent there. You got plenty of talent. Because on this show, all it was just centered around the 5-way match. Don't get me wrong, it was a great match, but you could have, because originally it was supposed to be the Forgotten Sons against Ricochet and Aleister Black for the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. That's been pushed back to next week. So yeah, they're just interviewing a couple of superstars about who they thought was going to win, and who's going to take over. And yeah, I don't think anyone really cared. The whole show was centered around that. But going to the match, it was a great match. Adam Cole ended up picking up the victory, which I spoiled. I'm sorry, I spoiled that last week. But yeah, there was some good spots in this match. I'm pretty sure Ricochet did a Hurricanrana to Velveteen Dream off the top rope outside onto everybody. Ricochet hit a shooting star press halfway across the ring. Now, if you go back and look at Lesnar's at WrestleMania 19, the dude lands on his head. Ricochet could have probably done a double shooting star press. The dude is that athletic, that gifted, and I'm pretty certain he's got an 8-pack. The motherfucker. I don't mean that. I like Ricochet. He's awesome. I think he needs to stay on NXT, but I think he needs to get over his demotion to Raw and say no. Just leave me on NXT. Leave me on NXT. So yeah, Adam Cole won that, and he's going to Takeover to obviously wrestle Johnny Fuckwit in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah, that was about it from NXT. I can't think of anything else. Matt Riddle's good. Matt Riddle's good. He looks and acts like a stoner, which is pretty funny. He's like, hey, that's cool, bro. Check out my long hair, man. I'm gonna go cut some waves, bro. Except I think sooner or later he needs to start wearing wrestling boots and knee pads, because he's gonna get seriously injured if he keeps up wrestling in basically underwear or whatever. Yeah, that was NXT. I actually also watched an episode of Impact, formerly known as TNA. I watched Impact for the first time in years, and that show is, yeah, I don't even know. I don't know exactly what's going on everywhere. There's a lot of people on there that I'm not familiar with. A few things happening there. Rich Swann and Sammy Callahan is the leader of OVE. I think they're having a feud over the X Division Championship. The Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix. I think they're in a feud with LAX, not the original LAX. It's more of the new LAX, and I don't even know. I actually don't know who they are. I just remember Conan. Conan, he's been around for he's been around for almost centuries now. I think he's running a lot of promotions in Mexico as well. So sorry to sidetrack you there. Johnny Impact, may know him as Johnny Nitro or Johnny Morrison, he's the Impact champion. He's defending against Brian Cage. I don't know when that is. I don't even know how their pay-per-views or that work. I mean, they're saying Against All Odds is the next pay-per-view, but I can't seem to find anything on that. So Johnny Impact was injured a couple of weeks ago. I can only assume, and was put in a neck brace. So he was supposed to have the match against Brian Cage for the title on Impact, just the recent episode, and Impact was dragged out by Killer Cross, who had allegedly attacked him out the back. Killer Cross has got star written all over him. There's something about him that he's the future of wrestling. Killer Cross versus Drew McIntyre, that'd be a match. That'd be a great match. So yeah, Killer Cross comes out, dragging him out to the ring, and he's got a massive cinder block, and he puts it at Impact's head, and he's gonna hit the chair, and then I think it's Taya Valkyrie, that's Impact's wife, brings out Brian Cage, and it's just like, you got to help him. And he's like, no, I'm done helping him, and then decides to go help him. So yeah, runs off Killer Cross. He's gone, bye. They thank him, and then Taya hits Cage with a low blow, and Johnny Impact does a nip up, and then starts beating up Cage and does the cinder block, hitting the chair on his head to him. I'm going to actually try to keep watching Impact so I can keep up a bit more with that, because the way I described that was absolutely shit. But guess what? It's staying. You're not getting out of that one. All right, I think that's all the shows. That's all the shows out of the way. So I'll just go through again. NXT Takeover New York, which is in, what would that be? 2.5 weeks. 2 days before WrestleMania. So we got the War Raiders defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It's either Aleister Black and Ricochet or the Forgotten Sons. We got Pete Dunne defending the United Kingdom Championship against Walter. I don't know if this has been announced on TV yet. From what I was watching today, I don't think it has been. The Velveteen Dream defending the North American Championship against the original bro, Matt Riddle. We got the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Championship between Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kairi Sane. And also the NXT Championship, the vacant NXT Championship is it's a 2 out of 3 falls match between Adam Cole, Bay and Johnny Fuckwit. I think maybe next week I'll give it a better preview, give some thoughts and some predictions on that. What I'm looking forward to most. But I also have noticed that this card is like Wrestle Kingdom 13 when every match is a title match. So that's going to be interesting. We'll go to have a look at Mania. WrestleMania 35. We obviously know that Brock Lesnar is defending the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins. And we know the triple threat match, which I think will be the main event. The Raw Women's Championship, Ronald McDonald, Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. And Triple H and Batista, the no holds barred match. And it was Shane McMahon and The Miz. That's what we knew about. Updated. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. Angle's farewell match. Like I said, I got this feeling that will change. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be disappointed. Buddy Murphy will be defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Tony Nese. What else? AJ Styles and Randy Orton has been booked, has been made for WrestleMania. Very happy about that. Very happy about that. I'll talk about that in a quick second. Samoa Joe will be defending the United States Championship against Rey Mysterio. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal has also been announced, and Asuka will be defending her Women's Championship against the winner of a Fatal 4-Way match between Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, and Naomi. I think that's coming up next week on SmackDown. I'm going to go Mandy Rose for that. I think Mandy Rose. It's going to be Mandy Rose and Asuka. Or, actually, no, I was going to suggest a triple threat match, but the other Women's Championship is a triple threat match. I think it should have always been Asuka versus Charlotte too for the Women's Championship, and then you just leave Ronald McDonald and Becky Lynch for the Raw. I think that's how it should have gone, but what do I know? I don't know much. As you can tell, listening to this, I just say whatever springs to mind. Yes. So AJ Styles and Randy Orton. Very, very happy about this. If you listened last week, you'll know this is a match I've wanted for a very, very long time. It has been a dream match of mine, and luckily enough for me, I will get to witness it, which is good for me. I just hope it's not a flop like Styles and Nakamura at WrestleMania last year. Speaking of dream matches, I saw this thing on the line, actually a few months ago now, about dream matches, and it was, I think you can only pick one. And the 4 matches they had were The Undertaker and Sting, Kurt Angle and Bret Hart, and I think that was a submission match, AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold versus CM Punk. And I'm pretty sure the way this goes is in their prime, obviously, so the best version of themselves wrestling. So it's probably sort of something that you can do on the Xbox or PlayStation. I'm not picking one of them because I don't have to, and I don't want to. I'm going to pick all 4. I think you cannot go wrong with all 4 of those matches. So I thought, why don't I tell some of my dream matches? Obviously, the first one is Styles and Orton. I won't count that, but because that is happening, so I'm lucky enough to witness that. Obviously, with this, it can be wrestlers dead or alive. Obviously, in their prime as well, best version of themselves, or however. I've gone Kenny Omega versus Shawn Michaels. I'm basically the Kenny Omega of now and Shawn Michaels of the late 90s. And that's a 1-hour Ironman match. And I think, much like WrestleMania 12, it goes to a kneel or draw. I'd love to see that. Andrade versus the late, great Eddie Guerrero. I think that would be that's another dream match, especially after watching Andrade for the last few years now, from NXT and now on SmackDown. I think that'd be, I think their styles are very similar, and I'm gonna say a big call right now, but I think Andrade is the second coming of Eddie Guerrero. especially just witnessing the matches that he recently had with Rey Mysterio and watching the matches that Eddie Guerrero had with Rey Mysterio. It's very, very creepy and similar. That's why it's creepy. And another one which I think should have been the match at WrestleMania 18, Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan. But then, like the 2002 versions of them, I think that should have been. I think that should have been the match at Mania 18 and should have been the main event. Obviously, they had their reasons for doing what they did and why they did it, but I think if you just want to get the two biggest superstars of generations, it's Austin and Hogan. So, obviously they went with Hogan and Rock. When was that? That was 17 years ago, and I only recently watched that match for the first time about a month ago. Out of pure spite, I'm not going to lie. But I did watch it, and it was a good match. A lot of people claim it to be one of the best matches ever and their favourite matches of all time. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine, and mine is it should have been Hogan and The Rock. I mean, fucker, it was Hogan and The Rock, wasn't it? It should have been Hogan and Austin. Okay, should have been Hogan and Austin. It was Hogan Rock. Should have been Hogan Austin. All right, yeah. So yeah, there are a few of my dream matches. If you're listening to this and have some dream matches of your own, like to comment on mine or the 4 that I presented earlier that I saw on the line, you're able to hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. They're at Circles and Blunt Pencils. It's an N, not and. It's all one word. Circles and Blunt Pencils. Also on Twitter at what's that at? Oh, it's at Circles and BP Pod. Yes, at Circles and BP Pod. I'm going to try to post a few things as well on all 3 media outlet devices, however you want to look at it. So yeah, if you even anything to do with wrestling, not just the dream matches, maybe something to do with what you think about what I say and the crap that comes out of my mouth, or mania predictions, or just whatever. Feel free. You can also hit up the comment section as well on YouTube, because I dare say that's how you're listening to this. Thanks to one half of the Cake Brains, obviously. That'll do me for today. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get this out there. I enjoy doing it. I'd like to keep doing it, and I will continue to do it. So yeah, Cake Champion signing off for Circles and Blunt Pencils. Woo!